Here are the 6 core strategies you need to address to make any Airbnb the highest performing Airbnb in your city. Come on inside. The first strategy we need to address is your capacity. That is your guest count and your bed count. Just in this house alone, we've got 1 bed. Yes, someone is using it. It's a friend that's helping me set the place up. All right, but never mind that. Let's get back to strategy. 2nd bed, 3rd bed. So far, I've only shown you king beds. King beds are king. Double king, bonus bed in our Harry Potter closet. Okay, the next one. Trundle bed in our movie room. That's 2 more beds. That's it because it pulls out from underneath. We're at 6. Let's go count some more. Come on, come on. Another bedroom with a king bed. That's 7. 7 beds. And how many bedrooms have we gone into so far? 4? 7 beds and 4 bedrooms that we visited. But there's more, come on. We've got a bunk bed right here. That's 2 more beds. That brings us to 9. This chair folds out into a bed. That's 10. But there's more. Roll-away bed. That's 11. This is our loft area. We'll put some games. And another trundle bed. That's 2 more beds. 12, 13 beds. We're gonna sleep 16 or more people in here, probably 20. Not sure on exactly what the guest count is yet, but honestly, bed count is more important. We have 13 beds, so we can sleep at least 13 people very comfortably, and realistically, more than that. We're definitely gonna hit 16 because here's why it matters. The highest number that you can search for on Airbnb, there are 3 criteria initially that you have to answer to search for a place to stay. Where you're going, the dates you want to stay, and the guest count you're bringing with you. And the highest guest count you can select on Airbnb is 16. It's actually 16 plus, all right? So we can accommodate literally every search that anyone puts in on Airbnb for this area, and we can actually accommodate more than that. But 16 is almost always the target when you have a house that's larger than 3 bedrooms. So that's our capacity strategy. At the end of the day, the more people you sleep and the more beds you get them, the more you will make, always, every time, every market. So just literally fit as many people as you can in there. I used to be against that strategy when I first started. I thought it was gross to stuff a house full of as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, the people that are doing that are the ones making the most money. So you wanna make money? Next, amenities, all right? So we went through capacity, now amenities. The amenities that we're doing in this property, all the best ones that we've seen and used over the years, starting with dedicated workspace and not just a desk and a chair, but we're actually got a screen, we got a dongle so you can hook just about any computer to that screen. So now people can do dual screen work when they're here, lamp, clock, a printer with paper, a stand for your computer, for your laptop that you bring, and also a walking pad, all right? That's our dedicated workstation amenity. Now, in this house, our unique offering amenity, if you will, is a movie room, okay? We are going to have the cleaners stage candy like this every time, because how cool would that be if you walk into a house and the host has left all this for you? It'd be super cool, right? Like it totally takes the pressure off of you to, you know, fix whatever else might go wrong, because stuff goes wrong, right? When you got a big house full of a lot of stuff, something ends up not working, and little things like that are a nice gesture that lead to 5-star reviews. Never mind how awesome it is to have a freaking movie theater in the house, all right? Moving on. Shuffleboard, all right? These are great for almost any property because there's almost always somewhere you can put them, all right? In this case, we put it right next to the stairwell railing. You can put it behind a couch. There's a wall you can put it, and it's thin enough that you just gotta find a wall that's long enough, all right? And these are super fun. Moving on. If you haven't noticed, every curtain that we pass has drapes. That's a checkbox amenity. I've talked about that before. Do them, they're great for so many reasons, all right? We've got the multi-game table. This has ping pong. This has air hockey. We've got foosball. We've got TVs in every room except the kitchen. Pac-Man game. We've got little kid amenities too. We've got Legos and little kid games with the alphabet and some numbers. We've also got a whole bunch of what we like to call family-friendly amenities, which like anything that seems nice for a family is get it and put it in the house. In every house you do, we try to put as much family-friendly stuff as we can in every property we do, because families travel everywhere in the world, all right? So this is a baby monitor. It just voice a sound monitor. If you can hear, the mother can hear the child crying, all right? We've got the outlet covers. If you want them, we have them. We've got a little like changing station for the baby, all right? Little baby crib, little baby bouncer crib.
It's bathtub.
Bathtub, baby bathtub. We've got baby gates. We've got luggage racks. Here in this closet, you know what they are. I'm not gonna show them to you. Every room, every bed has a luggage rack, all right? Moving on, more amenities, let's go. Our fully stocked kitchen always includes a coffee bar where we just do the Keurig and ground, and we always keep this full for every guest. Both of these should be full every time, all right? And everything else you need in a kitchen ever. If you have it in your kitchen and you use your kitchen, you cook a lot of food in it, that's what you need in your Airbnb. If you got outdoor seating, which we do, that's one of our amenities. We also got an outdoor TV. Let's go check out the rest of the amenities that we put out here. All right, fire pit seating. As I said in another video, if it's the one thing you do in the backyard, make sure it's that. It's super easy to install. There's a fire pit seating set that will fit almost any backyard, all right? We're also doing play set, all right? We've got a sauna. We've got a handyman who is amazing. Every house needs a great handyman. We've got giant Jenga. We've got a hot tub. And what we're doing with this hot tub right now is we're actually we're bolting to the ground a lift so that it can just lift the cover right off of it really easily so the guests don't have to like manhandle it with two guys, all right? Cornhole, giant Jenga, and that's our outdoor amenities. Barbecue grill. Also one of those, if you're gonna do anything, do that. Do the fire pit seating and do the barbecue grill. So we've covered capacity amenities, and the third core strategy is style, right? And the purpose of style is just to get people to stop scrolling and look at your listing. That's really it, in my opinion, all right? The amenities and how well you treat guests when you're at your property is what gets you 5-star reviews, which is the ultimate target. It's the ultimate goal, right? The more of those you get, the more money you'll make at the end of the day. It gives you staying power on the platforms, on Airbnb, on VRBO, on all of them, right? A track record of 5-star reviews, number one thing you need to be shooting for. And so that's really honestly just about how you treat guests at your property, all right? And the amenities that you give them. But it's more about just making them feel good, treating them well. And so if you show up and someone shows up to your house and you have minimal to no style, it's just a white box, but they have a great time, they enjoy their stay, they get what they expected, they're gonna leave you a good review. So again, I really see no other purpose, or at least primary purpose, for your design and your style, but to catch people's attention when they're searching on Airbnb, all right? And so what we do to catch people's eyes is we like to do a lot of contrasting colors, okay? And so you'll notice we got drapes everywhere throughout the house, all right? And our drapes, our curtains are always a different color than the surrounding area. They stand out. They're bold and vibrant, and they're different than anything else around them, all right? Another thing you can do is have either colorful furniture or colorful throw blankets and throw pillows on the furniture. So if this was a beige or a white couch, a non-vibrant, bold colored couch, you better believe we would probably have an orange throw blanket and blue pillows, all right? I know my design team, that's kind of like their go-to colors with throw stuff, throw pillows, throw blankets, when the furniture itself is just kind of vanilla, all right? Now in this case, we've got this nice blue couch, so they just went with, it's still an off color, right? It's white on blue. It just stands out. It catches people's eye, okay? So we've got the accent walls in here. These are, this kind of cool bluish color walls. We've got the art. Again, whatever you can do, just think crazy colors, all right? It works. As silly as it might look, a lot of times the people look at an Airbnb that I have and they're like, I would never decorate my house that way. And I'm like, me either. The house that I live in is definitely not decorated this way, but it serves its purpose. It catches your eye. It gets people to stop scrolling and click on your listing. So that's the purpose of style. Now the other 3 core strategies, so we talked about in the casher model where you got capacity, amenities, and style. Those 3 are 3 things you do just to get people to look at your place and book it, all right? The later 3 strategies, all right, in casher is hospitality, exposure, and revenue management. So these are things that you do during guest stay to make sure that you get the 5-star review. Make sure they have a good time, all right? So the first 3 strategies are before you start operating. They are how you successfully set up a property, and then hospitality, exposure, and revenue management are how you successfully operate a property, all right? So it's suffice to say that for those other 3, we're gonna need more videos that hone in specifically on all of them. So just getting to that point to be able to successfully operate those first 3 core strategies, super important, and I hope you find all this helpful on those things, on your capacity, what you should be shooting for, on the type of amenities that you should be going after that do work, that do bring high paying guests, and what you should be considering when you look at style, the lens that you should be looking through when you think, how is this place going to be designed, right? Again, just to catch people's eye, plain and simple, right? Get them to stop and be curious and click on your listing. So tips and tricks for being hospitable for your guests, for getting those 5-star reviews. Here's some tips and tricks that will help you get 5-star reviews on Airbnb. One that I really like is what I call an early check-in gift. So if the property is ready to go, in other words, it was not a same-day turnover. Let's say I have someone checking out today, the house gets clean after that checkout, and I don't have someone checking in until tomorrow. I'm gonna contact that guest at 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm just gonna send them a text and say, the house is ready, check in whenever you like. From 8 a.m. in the morning onward. It is such an incredible gesture. You are giving them a positive experience before they've even stepped foot in the house. All right? You're telling them that you care about the experience that they have, and it sets the tone for the rest of the stay. You can screw up in other little areas, and they're gonna be way more forgiving because you're not one of those, bleep this out, you're not one of those hosts, right? That's so strict about your rules and all this. Like, hey, we're here to make sure that you have a good time, all right? And we're gonna start off by letting you in super early, all right? So that's one of my favorites. All right, so other things you can do, I have an acronym, I love acronyms. I call this one Think Communication, all right? So whenever a guest reaches out to you, there is a problem. All right, it's pretty rare that a guest just wants to say, hello, how are you doing? How's your day going? No, if they're contacting you, if they're initiating conversation with you, there is some sort of concern. It might be a very small one. They might just want to know what time check-in is, right? There also might be something not working in the house, but whatever it is, your response should be timely. Within 5 minutes of them initiating contact with you, you should be responding, even if it's as simple as, hey, I see this, give me some time to follow up, I gotta check a few things, all right? Secondly, it should be helpful. Whatever their issue is, you should solve it. And that means not passing the buck, that means, sorry, I don't care, or some variation of that. And I believe, I know you would never say those words because you're a great host, but there's a lot of issues that it's like you just kind of wanna say, as nicely as you can, I'm not dealing with this right now, you're just gonna have to live with it. And you know who I'm talking to. If you're other on the end watching this and you feel some type of way about me saying that, right? Like you've done it, okay? Actually solve their problem. That's what being helpful is. It is taking ownership of the issue that the guests bring you and making it go away, or compensating them in some way for it. And it doesn't have to be with money. Sometimes, if it's an issue that can't be resolved during their stay, sending them a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne or some popcorn for the movie that they're gonna, or some pizza, right? Just a nice gesture at a minimum to acknowledge that, hey, I'm sorry you had this issue, can go a long way if you can't make the issue completely go away, which is a target, all right? So being timely, being helpful are the things that you can do when stuff arises during their stay, which inevitably happens often enough, right? Just be timely, be helpful, and start the stay off right with like an early check-in gift or something of that nature.